You got some remote workers, some people in office. Is it a mix?
It's a mix. I mean, obviously, in your world, I'd imagine this is a big topic right now.
Big, huge.
Yeah. We're one of the companies that's moved into the hybrid work model.
Okay. All right.
You've seen obviously so many companies, some people want to get everybody back in the office. Some people are comfortable with everyone being remote and they've let go of their offices. We're in the middle.
Okay.
We just extended our lease here for a little bit longer because we figure over the next 2 years, things will shake out and, we'll get a feel for what this is going to be.
You didn't sign a 10-year renewal though.
Oh no. No. I think we've got another 2 years or so in this space.
That's probably a good idea. That's a good tip for the listeners right there. Like if you're trying to decide, man, should it be 100% remote? Should I re-up? I think a 24-month extension is probably a good idea because you have a better idea of where we're at by then. Probably good idea. Good move, Dan.
Hey, well, thank you very much. I can't take credit for the thinking of that through, but yeah, I think it's the right thing. And, it's tough, right? Like our culture, I mean, we have an award-winning culture at CampMinder. We've been, Outside Magazine Best Places to Work 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And so much of that is the vibe.
Yep.
And we still have done, kudos to Annalise, who's our VP of Talent and Culture, and Claire on her team to have created, a culture that works both remote and in person and been very intentional about thinking about what it can look like when we have more remote folks. And, I don't think anything quite replaces the energy you get when you have like a lot of great people working together in person, at the whiteboard, walking around the office, having those, tapping someone on the shoulder, having a quick conversation. But whatever we got to do to adapt, we're ready to do it.
How many, so what percentage would you say are working 100% remote right now for you? If you had to guess there.
Well, so I don't want to try to do math on the fly, but I think that I don't want to embarrass myself, but I think we have about 25 people who are working at the office occasionally. So it's not like on an average day, you'd see 25 people here right now. You might see, 10 or 15 people working between our upstairs and downstairs spaces in a given day. So, the balance or not. So the majority clearly, have chosen to stay remote. We're launching people are going to have an option, right? Do you want to be remote full-time, maybe drop in the office every now and then? Do you want to be hybrid, in which case you're in the office, I think it's 3 days a week, or are you, in which case, like you get a spot, like you get a dedicated spot in the office versus are you basically full-time in the office? Like most of the time you're in the office. So by the end of this fiscal year, which for us is the end of this month, people will be making those choices and we'll have a better feel.
Are those choices tied to any incentives? I'm starting to see now CEOs, this is kind of new, but I'm starting to see where they're throwing out little carrots like, hey, if you do work in the office, you also get this, or you also get that, where they're trying to, for the CEOs that are trying to entice people to come back, they're throwing out little carrots. Are you doing anything there? Or it's just say it's.
No, I don't think we want to make people feel like they're doing something wrong necessarily by not coming in. I think we may try to make it more normal for certain types of meetings to happen in person because they're just going to be more productive and more effective. But we're not going to I don't know, no offense to the people who are doing those things, but it feels a little gimmicky to me. I don't want to be gimmicky. Right. A lot of people don't want to come in because they have a 30-minute commute each way. And right. I want to honor and respect that. We want to honor and respect that for our people.
Yeah. I mean, remote goes past COVID, right? It goes way past that. It's like, well, man, if I hire a guy in Kansas that I really like, I can get him on the team, even though he can't move. You also have the people that have an hour and 15-minute commute. So the remote work is beyond just COVID for sure. I think a hybrid model, I personally think if you can do a hybrid model, I think that is if I had to vote on it myself, I'd probably think that's probably the right thing to do right now. A hybrid model without any hardcore rules, I think makes everybody feel comfortable and opens it up for plenty of options. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, and we'll see, right? Like, you know,
We'll
if
see.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work at all, then, you know,
Yeah.
you have to adjust and do something that works. But so far, it feels like it's working quite well. And
What did you
yeah,
do?
I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to say, when we were changing our software architecture, like I was mentioning a moment ago, right?
Mhm.
The technologies we were using, like, it was very hard to find people in the Boulder, Denver area who had the skills. You know,
Mhm.
so we kind of had to open it up
Right.
to
Right.
a wider audience. So, you know, you kind of adapt that way. And again, we'll see, right?
We'll see.
For my own personal, you know, just one last thought.
Yeah.
When I founded CampMinder, I worked from home every day for 7+ years, like maybe 7 or 8 years. And going to an office was an incredible breath of fresh air, right? Like, I think a lot of people would say, oh, when you work from home, is it really hard to focus on your work because you've got all these distractions? Actually, it was the opposite for me. It was, how do I step away from my work if my office is right here in the middle of my living space?
That's right. That's
so
right.
I wonder if that's something that people will experience the more they do the work from home thing.
Agreed. You know, as a recruiting firm, of course, we love it when clients call us and say, I want you to do a search. And by the way, it can be remote and you can, you know, anybody in the US, because obviously it's way easier for us to find the talent if we can broaden the search, right? But I do get it. And we are getting a lot of pushback right now. You know, we're working on a search right now for a company in New York that, you know, the CEO is like, nope, I want them in the office Monday through Thursday. They got to be in the office. And boy, if for that specific area, you know, it's when we talk to candidates, they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And so it's
right.
It's tough. It's easier for us. It makes it easier for us when they're remote, but I definitely get both. And
their
100%.
employees, by the way, you know, their employees might be out there searching for new jobs because they maybe they're doing it, but they're like, I'm not happy about it and I don't want to do it.
That's right. That's right. You know? That's right. We're 100% remote right now at Riderflex, but we were 100% remote before. We never did have an office, and all of our recruiters live in different states, so remote works for us. But I do miss the water cooler stuff from time to time. You know, I do. You know, there are times definitely where, you know, I miss being around them. You know, one of my favorite things about being remote is, this is going to sound
Tell me.
this is probably too much to share.
I'm not going to judge you, Steve.
But I was telling Scott this, my co-founder, the other day. I said, you know what? One of the best things about remote is my own restroom anytime I want it.
There's like, something to be said for it.
You know, it's like, this is great. It's like right there. It's always open. It's private. It's, you know, I mean, Scott's like, okay, man, you didn't need to share that with me.
And now the whole world knows.
Now the whole world knows. Steve enjoys his own restroom.